Hey, this is Monica from Theoterran.
This is Pathos from Symphony
Hi,
of
this
Heaven,
is
and
Randy
you are
Rose.
listening to the Johnny Taco
Hey, what's
Show.
up, everybody? This is Paul McCoy from the band 12 Stones, and you're listening to the Johnny Taco
This is
Show.
Sloths in a Bucket on Johnny Taco Show.
Hey, this is Sergio Pollock from A Vespertine Rising.
Hey guys, this is Jeremy Sims from With Blood Comes Cleansing. You're listening to the Johnny Taco Show.
This is Patrick from Ritual Servant, and you're listening to...
Welcome to the Johnny Taco Show.
What's up? This is Johnny Tacos here with another exciting and informative episode of Origin Stories. Today, we have Clay from Not of This World, all the way from Monroe, Louisiana. If you don't know where that is, just ask the Duck Dynasty guys, and then they'll show you through their warehouse and then kick you out. But they will bless you, they will pray over you, and then kick you out.
Right.
Before we get into this heated interview, it's a Dateline interview. No. Before we get into this interview, I just want to give a big shout out to Renovation Church over here in Midlothian, Texas, and that's Midlothian. Kind of sounds like something Greek Orthodox or something, but it's the town of Midlothian, Texas, where it is Bible-based studies. The sermons are awesome. The worship is far beyond anything I've listened to, and I've listened to a bunch of worship. So if you need a church, you're looking for a home church somewhere where you can get filled with the Holy Spirit and also be a part of a life group, please check them out. Go talk to Pastor Tim Hill. Tell him the Taco Man sent you, and he'll give you an extra hug. He gives out free hugs to people that say you're from the taco show. So
how much is a hug if you're not from the taco show?
It's worth 2 tacos. You actually have to barter with tacos.
So you trade 2 tacos in for 1 hug.
Yes.
Unless you sent them personally.
Yes. Unless you sent
that
me.
Makes sense. Yeah,
see, I'm the metaphorically taco. So it's the metaphorically taco for a hug. So
gotcha.
But yeah, really excited. They have a lot of great, they have a disciple class going on right now. They have an anxiety class that teaches through the Bible about anxiety, as well as, we have our life groups, which we meet up twice a month, where you get the food fellowship. And then you got your Sunday. They got two sermons, one at 9:30 and one at 11. So if you're an early bird, like I usually am, you can come at the 9:30. Or if you partied all Saturday and then you want forgiveness, you go on at the 11 o'clock. So be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. All right, so we're here with Clay, the man, the myth, the legend of Louisiana.
Only in my own mind.
Hey, that's a start, right?
That's right.
So how are you doing today?
I'm great. We had a big old shindig, 1-year-old birthday party for my little baby girl. So that's been an all-consuming thing for the last week or so, getting ready for that.
Well, I'll let you know, once they turn 1, they'll be 18 in no time.
Yeah, I've got a 16-year-old and an 11-year-old, and then we got our little caboose.
10 years later.
That's right.
Wow.
Starting over. Yeah.
Yeah. I was blessed with 6.
Else when you get to our age.
Yeah, definitely. I was blessed with 6 kids, and they're all around the same age. We have 2 that are finished up high school, so we'll be fully empty nesters here hopefully by 2025.
Wow.
So get an RV and head to Louisiana. I heard there's some good crawdads over there.
Well, not this year. They're having a problem this year.
Oh, are they?
Oh yeah, it's a really drought and then the freeze. So it's been a rough year for the crawfish.
Well, the freeze was only 3 days. 3 days freeze here. We know that the summer is going to be horrendous with mosquitoes,
Yeah.
the size of teacup chihuahuas.
We had them last 2 days. I've been working in the yard, and we had them here
Wow.
getting after us. Yeah.
Yeah, those and the chiggers. You can't do
Yeah.
any yard work without getting either or.
That's right.
So, speaking of children, when you grew up, what have you always been in the church?
Yeah, I mean, I was born in the pew, pretty much. I mean, I guess you could say that. I was adopted when I was born, and I mean, God really, really had His hand on me and blessed me with my family.
Mm-hmm.
Because my grandparents were missionaries and pastors, and great grandparents were pastors. I've grown up in Assemblies of God, and also non-denominational. So that towards that direction of Christianity. So I grew up in that church pretty much my whole life.
Yeah, and it's big over here in Waxahachie. You can't throw a stick without hitting somebody from Assembly of God.
Well, that's right.
So, but growing up, having a church family, you think that had brought a big bond between you and your parents?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, you know how it is growing up. I mean, as a kid, I think back now, and I wouldn't trade. We were in church at least 3 times a week, minimum. Sometimes more because mom had choir practice or whatever. Go up there and play basketball all the time. So I was there all the time. I wouldn't trade those experiences for anything.
So you were shutting down the church, huh?
Oh, yeah. And then as you get older and get a little rebellious spirit in you and get into your teens and 20s and stuff, everybody goes through a period of falling away a little bit, but you always come back to, it's true what they say, teach them the way they should go when they're young, and when they're old, they won't fall away from it. So that's kind of what I've experienced.
Yeah, and I think we all go through that time in our life where we test the boundaries because, we're hard-headed. Back in the day being a kid, I'm still considered hard-headed. If you ask my wife, she'll say, yeah, he's still hard-headed. But
same here.
Yeah, we go through that life where we have to test the waters. But the one thing about our God is that He is a loving God. He is a God that will never forsake us. So He's there through all the ordeals that we went through. And now I'm kind of thinking about all the ordeals I did when I was a teenager. I was like, wow, I'm sorry you had to see that.
Me too. I know. It's a miracle sometimes that we're still alive and as blessed as we are,
Yeah. And the one thing about it that just makes everything just so perfect is that Jesus, when you're saved, Jesus is there for you. So I know that He had His hand in a bunch of stories there, and we don't have enough time in the world to tell you all the stories that I know that Jesus had intervened.
Same here, man. I'm right there with you.
So, how did you come along with the band Not of This World? Because I've seen the stickers before I gave my life to Christ. Not of This World, I was thinking aliens, back in when I was a kid. But then I realized, Not of This World means that you're a Christian, you're a follower of Jesus, and not of this world, because this world is evil and corrupted.
Right. Yeah, like that's just kind of. I mean, of course, I go back. My first musical experience was Petra.
Yeah.
When I was 10 or 11, so that's kind of what got me into music and my love of music. Well, before that, I guess I was 4 or 5, and I've always been a big Star Wars nerd.
Yeah.
You're probably right there with me. You're almost the same age, so you're same era.
I was saying, were you looking in my studio? Because you'll see like Star Wars stuff here. And I love God. I don't put anything above God, but, Star Wars is pretty much below the family.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, so really Star Wars music is what got me into music when I was 5 years old. Just John Williams music, that just blew my mind. And then Petra, a little later on, that opened my whole world and mind up to, this is really cool. This is rock and roll. Christian lyrics. My parents will let me listen to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Petra had a album of this world back in the early 80s.
Yeah, I
So
remember.
when I,
Yeah.
started putting my music together and figuring out that I could, make my own music and stuff like that, I've always liked that meaning, that connotation that Not of This World brings to my mind. I mean, this is not our home, this is temporary. This is just a temporary place that God has us for a time, to do his work. And then we're going to our real home. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, I've always liked that phrase, Not of This World.
Yeah, because this is like your first apartment when you were young, getting out of the house with cockroaches and everything else that just moves around. This is what it is when you finally ascend into God's presence. You see the beautiful home that you were meant to be, and the kings and queens that you are. You're royalty. You're royalty of the family. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that, hopefully there's enough bricks in my house because, I'm 6'6".
Yeah.
So the music, Star Wars music,
Mhm.
it opened up doors to you. You started listening to Petra. Were there any other influences?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've got a million influences, I mean, I never learned to read music. My parents made me take piano lessons when I was little because of my love for when I heard the Star Wars music, the main theme, I would go to the piano and just kind of pick it out by ear. I always played by ear. So my parents made me take lessons, and that never took. I hated that. So growing up, I kind of doodled on the guitar as a teenager, but I never really learned anything, And then I've always had guitars, and just about 4.5, 5 years ago now, I really started to get into it, and I got my 8-track recorder, and I kind of figured out I could write my own music, and play my own music and put stuff together, and so that's where it started, put my own music together, and I've got, I mean, probably Bob Hartman, Petra. He's a obviously a huge influence. Just his writing and his playing style, and I love his hooks that he comes up with. I mean, I'm a big acoustic fan too. I like to do a mixture of acoustic and electric. So I love that kind of sound mixture. So I've got a lot of secular influences too. Alice in Chains is a big influence because of I love their blending of the acoustic and the electric stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many. Paul Simon. I mean, just all kind of different people.
Yeah, because I really like The Boxer from Paul Simon. The Boxer.
Yeah.
To me, that's what opened up a lot of that folk kind of music to me was Paul Simon.
Yeah. I'm a little weird because I hate country music. I can't stand it, but I love folk music and I love bluegrass.
Yeah.
So go figure.
It's just bluegrass to me is like the roots in Christianity. You really see a lot of bluegrass back in the day. Now they have alternative rock. Was it bluegrass rock or something like that, like a Poor Man's Poison or what was it? Trampled by Turtles, stuff like that has like that bluegrass touch to it.
Yeah.
But it's not really heavily weighed in Christianity as the old bluegrass.
Right.
And I don't mind. I love the way the fiddle plays and the banjo plays, and it makes you want to jump up and dance.
Yeah. I love the different sounds, the different dynamics of all these different instruments. Like I'll fiddle around with the banjo, I'll fiddle around with the mandolin. I love the dynamics of each of those instruments, and you know, how they can complement the acoustic guitar, and you know, how they have their own dynamics. It's really cool.
So
I got one song on
yeah.
the album coming out I got banjo, I've got piano, I've got mandolin in it. It's a little bluegrass feel for sure.
And what's the name of that song?
Lily of the Valley.
Lily of the Valley.
Mm-hmm.
That's my youngest daughter's named Lily. So yeah, I'm
Oh,
gonna have to
okay.
jam to that.
That's cool.
I'm gonna say, hey, I wrote that and gave it
Yeah.
to Clay for you. There you go.
That's pretty cool.
I gotta get a little brownie points. They're getting older.
That's
you know,
right.
she'll be 18 this year, and you gotta get a little brownie points on
Yeah.
there. So, were you in the band before Not of This World?
Never. I've never really played with anyone to speak of. Don't really have time. Especially with the 3 kids now and the wife and the job. You know, I don't have time to, you know, sit down with people and play. And I wish I did, but I don't. So I just kind of do it all myself when I can. I've got a little studio in the backyard, and it's filled with Star Wars stuff. But I've got my guitar set up, I got my drums set up, my piano, and just kind of go out there and fiddle around when I have time.
And it all seems polished. It seems like it's a full band.
Yeah, because it's usually on each track I'll usually have at least 3 guitar tracks. I'll do a right track, a left track, and then a center track. And then I'll have a melody on top of that. And then I'll have, you know, then I'll have bass, then I'll have maybe piano, but drums, you know. So I'll have all the different instruments in there.
So if you're on stage, you're going to be the one-man band. You ever seen those guys that had like the drums, the guitar, the harmonica?
Yeah, that's not for me. That's not for me.
I remember when I was a kid, there's a place called Don Juan's. It's a Tex-Mex place in Grand Prairie where I'm from.
Yeah.
They had this gentleman that he was like, I think he was walked through the Red Sea with Moses. That's how old I thought he was. He was pretty old. But when he sat down, he had a bass drum, he had a guitar, he had a harmonica, he had cymbals, and he would start playing music and singing like that. And so what reminds me of a lot of bands nowadays, like yourself, you do all your instruments, your vocals, everything. There's other artists that I've met that does everything themselves as well.
Yeah.
That it's the modern day one-man band.
Right. Yeah.
And thanks to all the digital doohickeys we got. That's the scientific word, doohickeys.
Yeah.
That's a southern word.
Yeah. Music studio production studios, and everything's on the computer, and you know, you can do everything yourself.
And look at me, I'm in a lavish studio, aka my son's ex-room.
Yeah.
And I can do everything here. And it's just amazing what technology can do to help us spread the ministry of God.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And that's what I've always wanted, you know. I want God to use the talents he's given me to reach people. You know, I wouldn't want to do it otherwise, you know.
Yeah.
And I love that, you know, that Dale Thompson from Bride is the singer on my project. This is our second album.
Oh, really?
Another one, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to get a hold of Dale. He's been avoiding me. So if you're listening, call me. Call me.
I'll put in a word with him. He's hard to get a hold of sometimes, you know. And I think Bride, I think he's coming back to the States, and Bride is about to start ramping up again, I think.
That is awesome. I hope they come through Dallas, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they might. I don't know. I know they're touring. I just saw they're going to be in South America with Petra.
Yeah.
So that's later, like October, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've talked to a couple of people in South America, and it's beautiful there. I wish I could fly over there and enjoy a good concert.
Yeah, me too, man. I would love that. So what I do is I put all the tracks together. I get it to a good demo form, where it's not completely polished, but it's a good demo. And then I'll get 5 or 6 demos, that are pretty much complete songs. Then I'll send them to Dale, and he'll take each song. He takes about literally an hour or two to come up with melody and lyrics. And it's amazing to me how he does that. And he'll send them back to me,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's truly a gift from God to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Not even having a bead of sweat on you.
I know, it's nuts.
Man, we're not supposed to be jealous, but hey.
Yeah.
So how did y'all meet? Was it on a website?
We never met. I just following him on social media and interacting with him a little bit. And, I just kind of sent a message to. This was back in 2021, middle of the pandemic and everything. Sent a message to him and said, I've got some demos. If you want to take a listen and see if you might want to work together, and rest is history. Our first album came out at the end of 2022. And this one's coming out February 16th.
Which is 2 days after my anniversary. That's going to be a treat to jam out.
Valentine's Day, huh?
Yep. We decided to...
bold choice.
Yeah.
Bold choice.
Well, they had a Valentine's dinner at my old church, and we said, well, can we get married there? And it turned out to be our wedding reception, which was really awesome. It was a good time. I enjoyed us getting married. I got to marry my best friend.
That's awesome.
And I went through a lot of bad decisions and rush decisions.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. We all do that. Yeah.
And then when the right time, when you're like, you know what, I'm going to stop and let God point out the correct way to go, and voila, there's my wife.
Yeah.
She's my hot sauce to the tacos. She keeps me on my toes.
Yeah.
So
mine does too, man. Let me tell you.
So you're part of ROXX Records, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When did you get signed?
Same. I mean, back in 2022, I guess, when we had probably a good 5 or 6 completed songs done. Dale sent them to Bill at ROXX, and he decided that he wanted to put them out. So we added a few more songs, and then they decided to put out the first album.
Wow. That right there, just it's really awesome that you never were in a band, and you never played for a band, and never even thought about, having this, and then all of a sudden you have a record label pretty much the same time as the wax gets put on. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It's just amazing.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. What God has in store for you. And, what I tell people is, it doesn't matter your age. When God has something that's awesome, it's going to reveal to you to do it. It's going to be on his time, not your time, because you could rush everything. You can just keep going and not stop and listen. And God's going to say, no, that is not in the plan. Sorry. You're going to drop you down off of your pedestal. He can drop you down on your pedestal if you're thinking you're above him. Yeah, he can humble you. That's for sure. Yep. And I don't know how many times he had to humble me. Like I said, I'm hard-headed. It takes a lot for us hard-headed folks sometimes, but we come around in the end eventually. Amen. And I'm over here looking on your on your Facebook. If people want to check out, you can look on Not of This World on Facebook. It has a big picture that says "I am with you." That's a cool picture. I love that picture with the lightning. Yeah, that Rafael Tavares does our artwork. So he did artwork for the both albums. He's an amazing artist. Yeah. Yeah, that right there is it is so cool. It is so cool. I can look at that and just think, that's the power of God. Yeah. Just pushing through. It's a very powerful picture. It also shows like the 24th, your music video for Darkness. Yeah. So
Yeah,
how did it feel to do a music video?
well, I mean, it's not me doing it. You know, it's just a production company. You know, contracted them just to kind of put some visuals with it, and then also Dave Cruz. You know Dave Cruz?
Yeah, Dave. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a couple of other videos for us. He
Yeah.
did one for I am with you has one. It should be on there somewhere. That's a really cool one.
Yeah, Dave Cruz is a very talented individual.
Yeah.
I try to get him on the show as many times as I can because he kind of brightens the day here.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, he's a great guy. You know, he's easy to work with, you know.
Yeah.
He's done a couple of videos for us.
And do you have any upcoming works in progress?
No, I'm just kind of taking a break. I'm always fiddling. I'm always playing. I've always got something going on. But as far as recording, I'm not really doing anything right now. I'm gonna kind of take a break, let this album come out, and kind of go through the whole cycle with it for a while and promote it and all that kind of stuff.
You know that.
Then probably start recording again.
Yeah.
I just did I do cover songs from time to time. I just did "Wish You Were Here," Pink Floyd. I did that by myself. You know, I didn't use Dell for that one.
And
that out there somewhere.
so yeah, and that song is a really good song. You know, if you don't remember Pink Floyd, you know they were very controversial back then with The Wall and that whole 2 hour what was it, a bunch of videos from The Wall, and he was a tremendous imaginative kind of an artist.
Yeah.
But
And David Gilmour, the guitarist, he's another huge influence on me. I love his emotional playing and the way he bends notes, and it's just the space in between his notes. It's just really speaks to me. So he's another big influence.
yeah. But we're getting close to the end of the show. I can't believe it's already almost the end of the show. It's like we've been talking.
I know, man.
You know, it's only been like 5 minutes. That's what it felt like. But
Yeah.
I guess you do it when you have good conversation with good Christian brothers and sisters. So I want to welcome you to the Street Taco team, man. You know,
Thank you, sir. Good to be here.
having
Good to be a part of the team.
you know, I can't wait to hear more music from you. What we're going to do is we're going to head off with Darkness.
Okay.
On here on the show. So we're going to head out. We're going to listen to the song. I want you to enjoy it, to just turn off the lights and just spend some time with God while you're jamming out. So, and that is not my commandments. That's God's commandment, because you have to spend time with God. So, all right. So here it is, Darkness by Not of This World, here on the Johnny Taco's origin story.
When I sit in darkness, I jumped up and cut the light off. Spirit began to move. There was a wondrous cause you could not see. It was amazing. We became the only line of the road. Revolution, your light is gone. The glory of the Lord is upon you. So we're going into the darkness to see and to hear. Storms will come, they won't last. We must stand, Jesus and his village.
All right, that's the end of the show. I want to give a shout out to Renovation Church at the Peak, as well as Finding Hope Festivals. To all the new listeners that happen to stumble upon here, thinking that this was a Food Network show. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you know what? I have the opposite. I love being the bearer of good news, and the good news is Jesus Christ, and you do get edification through the testimony and the music of our guests. Want to give a shout out to all the diehard listeners that listen to us on the daily. You are the sour cream on this taco supreme. And without you, I would just be talking to myself on the wall, and that would give ample ammunition for my wife to put me in Gotham forever. To everybody, remember, don't have a good day. Have a great day. Until we meet again, this is Johnny Tacos, and you are listening to Origin Stories.